Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Just Like You show. I am your host, Alexis Christine, and I am a spiritual mindset coach and Reiki master, helping women break through their limiting beliefs, rewire their brain, and manifest the life of their dreams. Just Like You is a podcast for all of the divine souls looking for guidance on their healing and ascension journey. We explore the depths of the universe, hold space for vulnerable conversations about spirituality and self-development, delve into the esoteric things like how to manifest, star seeds, the astral realm, and shed light on taboo topics such as plant medicine and so much more. I am honored that you are here to take this journey with me. I want everyone listening to be able to leave each episode feeling inspired and having learned something tangible to take away into their day-to-day life. If you feel called to work with me or explore this work deeper, please reach out at imalexischristine.com or you can DM me on Instagram at iam.alexischristine. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Just Like You show. Oh my God, a bird just flew into the window. Holy shit. Okay, well, I'm your host, Alexis Christine, and today, sorry guys, I cannot get over this. A full-ass pigeon just flew into the window. Holy crap. Oh my God, that scared the living daylights out of me. It's fine, it flew away, but Jesus Christ. Deep breath. Okay. Today, we are going to be talking about limiting beliefs and how they can affect your manifestation journey, you reaching your goals, and basically how you live and carry yourself in your life, because so many people don't realize how big of an impact your limiting beliefs and your self-talk and your mindset can make on how you view the world and how events unfold for you, and basically just the way your life goes. It's a lot more powerful than I think people realize. And I just wanted to talk about it today and kind of explain to you what they are, how they work, some tips on how to clear them. And I'm super excited because I think this is going to help a lot of people, especially when you're just kind of sitting there thinking, why is nothing good ever happening to me? Like, what's going on here? Or if you have the mindset of you really want to do something and you just don't believe that you can do it, and you're like, why can all these people do these things? But like, there's no way I ever could, you know? So we're going to start with just some manifesting and maybe a little bit more woo-woo terminology so that when I'm talking in this episode, you kind of understand what it is I'm actually saying. So the first one I'm gonna do is frequency, because I feel like that comes up a lot. Same with like vibration or vibrational frequency. It's like a very big buzzword right now, but I feel like some people might not actually know what it means. And it's honestly super simple. It's literally just the rate at which energy vibrates. So obviously, as we've talked about before, everything in this world is energy, and energy is constantly moving. And so it can move fast, it can move slow. It's all moving at different rates. And so when I'm talking about raising your frequency or raising your vibration, it's basically just taking it from like a lower speed, I guess very technically speaking, up to like a higher one. So I think I've mentioned before, like if you're stuck in like a victim mindset and you're always angry and stressed, and like it's not low vibration to feel those feelings, because we need to be able to feel it and allow it to flow through us. But if you're stuck in it and you're victimizing yourself and you're kind of just sitting in it and like feeding into that emotion, that will lower your vibrational frequency, and that will basically make it harder for you to manifest. And in another way to use the term frequency, it's also for like, how do you say this? Like music almost? I guess it's just like more of a sound. But when you're manifesting, or if you're looking at manifesting playlists, you might see something called like the love frequency, and it's 528 hertz. So there's different frequencies that are at different hertz, and that can help call in different things. So like I just said, love is 528, and there's a bunch of different ones, but it's also just, a sound that you can listen to aid in your manifestation journey. So a limiting belief or a manifestation block can refer to anything that prevents or obstructs you from manifesting successfully. And if I take the word manifesting out of this for those who are a little bit less woo-woo, it's literally just reaching your goals. So if you're trying to reach your goal and you keep struggling, you're going to have mental blocks that are preventing you from getting there. Okay, so woo-woo side, manifesting; non-woo-woo side, you're trying to reach some goals. So these can include the limiting beliefs like I just talked about. It can include a negative mindset, having a lot of toxic people or toxic relationships in your life that aren't serving you and that are causing you a lot of stress, and just some bad habits that we all have. I feel like maybe bad is the wrong word, but just like not productive habits. Like me, for example, with the emotional eating. Not necessarily a bad habit, quote unquote, but it definitely wasn't aiding in my journey. It was hindering my growth in terms of learning to actually feel and release my emotions to be able to move through it. And then I ended up gaining a bunch of weight and having all these other journeys to go through, which I'm grateful for because it obviously taught me so much. But just an example of one of the not great habits that we can impose onto ourselves that can hinder us in our journeys. I think those are all the woo-woo words that I'll probably go over. If one comes up that I haven't thought of, I'll just pop in the definition as I say it. But we're going to talk into why we need to have the right mindset in order to actually reach our goals or to manifest our dream lives or call in abundance or whatever it is that we're looking to do. If you don't truly believe that you have the power to manifest your reality or to reach your goals or to create your dreams, then it's not going to work. Because if you're not having faith in what you're doing, you're going to lower your vibration, okay? Meaning that your energy isn't aligned with the energy of what you're trying to manifest. So your vibrational energy is lower than the vibrational energy of whatever goal it is you're trying to reach or whatever manifestation you're trying to call in. And like attracts like. I think I've mentioned this in a previous episode, law of attraction. Maybe I haven't. Okay, so we also need to go over law of attraction. I'll do that too. But if your vibrational energies aren't matching, it's not going to come to you, essentially. So we need to make sure that we're spending time looking at where our blocks are, where we have low confidence, where we have self-doubt or skepticism that is preventing us from reaching those goals that we're trying so hard to get to. And so the law of attraction, just very simply, is basically, it's part of a fundamental group of laws that, quote unquote, govern the entire universe. So law of attraction is one of them. Law of assumption is another one. There's like a whole list. I'm not going to go through all of them. But if you want to practice manifestation or if you just have some goals you want to reach, the law of attraction can be extremely, extremely powerful to help you. And it's basically, it's the premise that whatever we focus and give our energy to is what we're going to receive. So you have to think of your body like a magnet. And if you focus your positive energy within yourself, then you'll be able to draw the positive energy from the universe. So if you think about opposites attract, we're just going to like completely cross that out. That's like not a thing. We want it to be like attracts like. So the law of attraction is you embodying what it is you want to attract to then have your energy be like a magnet and pull what it is you're trying to attract towards you. So if you're in a super negative headspace or you're negatively thinking about things, it's just going to keep happening. You know those days where it's just like one thing happens and then another thing happens and then another thing happens and it's just like a whole waterfall of just shitty things happening to you and you're like, what is going on with today? Like, why is this happening? It's because you're emitting this negative energy out of your system and you're attracting it back to you. So if you want to get rid of that, we want to start manifesting our dream lives, abundance, romance, whatever it is. We need to start embodying that higher vibration, that happiness, that gratefulness, all of those like super happy, upbeat, whatever type of emotions and vibrational frequencies in order to be able to call it in. So what happens when we're trying to manifest and we're trying to reach our goals and it's just not happening? We're manifesting, we're working towards it, we're waiting for something to happen, and there's literally just nothing. It's more often than not because you have some sort of mental block towards whatever it is you're trying to call in. So for example, if you're trying to call in financial abundance, like basically a shit ton of money in like normal people terms, and you have this mindset of I will never be rich, money is the root of all evil, it's not going to happen because subconsciously you don't believe that it can. So what you need to do is subconscious reprogramming to get you into a mindset where you actually do believe that, you can have financial abundance, you can have a lot of money, and that doesn't make you a bad person for wanting to have money freedom and be able to just live a life you enjoy without worrying about where your next rent money is going to come from, without worrying about how you're going to pay your bills or put food on your table. It's not bad to want to have some money, We all need to afford to live in this world. And you know what? Life's a whole lot better when you don't have to stress about where your money's going to come from, when you can just live your life freely and not have the stress of Where's my next paycheck coming from? How am I going to be able to afford this? Holy shit, my car broke down. I don't have the money to fix it. What am I going to do? So it's those types of subconscious reprogramming, those types of limiting beliefs that need to be reprogrammed in your brain before you're going to be able to manifest it all in. And there's different types of limiting beliefs. So there's what they call like a global limiting belief. I'm sorry, men, to harp on you right now, but let's just say you're a girl and you have the mindset of all men cheat. Well, yeah, then all the men you attract are going to cheat on you because that's how you perceive them. That's your subconscious belief. That's what you think. That's going to be your reality. So you now have to change your subconscious programming to not all men cheat. Like, of course, there's people out there that cheat. There's women out there that cheat too. It's not just a men thing, but it's that belief in your brain. If that's all you've ever experienced, or that's all you know, or even if you haven't experienced, but your parents broke up because your dad cheated, or your best friend got cheated on, like, you have these programs in your brain that we need to learn aren't true and that can be released from our system before you're going to be able to call in your dream partner. Does that make sense? And then there's these other limiting beliefs that are like just your own. So it's like, I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty. I'm not attractive. No man would ever want me because I'm not good at this, this, and that. And those are limiting beliefs that you're putting on yourself. And if your self-worth is low, then you're going to attract men in that reflect that level of self-worth. So if you see yourself as not attractive, maybe that's why you're not getting any dates, because the energy you're putting off is like, well, I'm shit. Like, why would you like me? And they're going to look at that energy just subconsciously. You can feel people's energy. They're going to match it essentially. So you know when you walk into a room and you can tell who the confident people are and you can tell who the shy people are, it's that type of energy. So if you're on a date and you're like really feeling like you're super ugly and you're like, oh my God, is he judging me for this? Is he judging me for that? Oh my God, like why would he like me? This, that. Then like, yeah, he's probably going to be subconsciously having the same thoughts because that's the energy that you're projecting. So you need to work on your self-worth. You need to clear the limiting belief of no one would ever want me to like, yeah, I'm a great fucking catch. I bring this, and this to the table. Like, who wouldn't want me, you know? So there's those two types of beliefs. And then there's one more where it's like, if this, then that. So if I get a boyfriend, then he's going to cheat. And then it stops you from getting a boyfriend because you think that if you're in a relationship, you're going to get cheated on, and it sticks you into these situationships where it never really progresses to anything more because you have the limiting belief that if it does progress to something more, you're going to get hurt. Or if I'm vulnerable, then I'll get hurt. Another example. So you have all these superficial, like surface level interactions in your dating life because if you actually get vulnerable, you have the belief that you're going to get hurt. So limiting beliefs literally stop us in every single aspect of our lives. And so many people don't even realize that they're there. And just with these examples alone, you can see why so many people are struggling and they literally have no idea. I want to go over just really quickly some other types of mental blocks that can show up as well. I know this is mainly about limiting beliefs, but I'll just go super, super quickly over them just so that you guys can kind of have like a full circle if you are struggling. So the first one is doubting the process, right? So if you don't actually believe that manifestation does work, then it's not going to work for you because you don't believe in it. It's the same thing as you not reaching your goals. If you don't actually believe in yourself, then you're not going to reach them, are you? Like if you don't believe it can happen, then it won't. So you need to make sure that you're really putting your full trust into the universe and just releasing control and trusting the process and knowing that the universe will never give you something that you're not ready for. So even if you're trusting the process, if you still have those limiting beliefs, then it's not going to give it to you because you're not ready for it, right? So you just really have to make sure that you're truly believing that this process is possible, or you're not going to get what you're trying to manifest in. The second one is the bad habits that I kind of touched on earlier. So even something as small as like negative self-talk throughout the day, that's going to prevent you from getting whatever it is you're manifesting in. And something as simple as not getting enough sleep, right? That's telling the universe that you don't care to look after yourself, so you don't deserve to be looked after or given abundance by the universe. Like you really need to mirror what it is that you're trying to call in and reflect that back. So if you're not looking after yourself, if you're not taking care of yourself, then why would the universe give things to you? If that, like, does that make sense? So for example, if you're like super frivolously spending and you're not paying attention to where you're spending your money and you're just racking up loads of debt, the universe is going to be like, this person's not responsible. Why would I give her more money? So there's a difference between being in debt because you have to pay your bills and being in debt because you're getting blow dries every week and you're spending thousands on holidays that you can't afford. So the irresponsible kind of like reckless spending is where you're telling the universe, like, I am not worthy of having this abundance because I'm not respecting what I have now. And I'm not saying you have to be perfect in order to manifest successfully. So obviously, none of us are perfect. We're all going to have some bad habits, but it's the ones that really creep up all the time in your everyday life. Okay, the next one that I actually find to be a lot more common than people realize is that the other people around you can prevent you from getting your manifestation in. So I don't know if any of you guys have seen, like, people don't want to share what they're manifesting before it comes because other people's energy can ruin it for you. It's kind of crazy how this all works, but there's going to be a minority of people around you. They can be your friends, your family, your colleagues, literally like your followers online. And they just drag your vibrational frequency down. They can always be complaining. They're always in the victim mindset. Maybe they're a narcissist. Like, there's just so many different options. But they'll come to you and they'll be like, well, do you really think that that's a good idea? Like, why? Like, is there even a point in doing that? I don't think that that's going to work. Like, that doesn't seem like a safe option. Like, I've even had it to me, like one of my closest friends was like, do you really think that coaching is sustainable? Like, you think it's going to last? I don't think there's going to be many people that do that. Like, look at PTs and how much they struggle. And I was just like, okay, well, I mean, like, if you don't believe it, you don't have to, but I do. I believe it's going to work. So it is. And you have to really make sure that you're being careful of who you're sharing your energy with. And I'm not saying cut all these people off, although if they are a narcissist, maybe you should. But just be careful of what you're sharing and how you're sharing it. So if there's something that you're really trying to manifest in, like, maybe just don't go as deep with those people. If you're noticing that they're really draining your energy or they're putting that negativity onto you, they're projecting their insecurities onto you. If they don't believe it's going to happen, like if they would put themselves in your shoes, then they're going to voice that to you. And it's going to harp on your beliefs and your self-worth and whether or not you think it can happen. And it's just like a whole like downfall from there. So we got to be careful about that. Okay. And the last one, which, I mean, like, it really sucks, but sometimes we just got to be like, you know what, universe, I give you control, is that it literally just might not be the right time. So you can have done everything right. You've gotten rid of your doubt. You've cleaned up your habits in your daily routine. You've cut out all the negative people. Like, you know, you're doing everything to get this manifestation to come in, taking all the aligned action, and like, it's just not coming. Why not? The universe knows what you want. It's heard you, it sees your actions, but sometimes it takes time to come. So with me and moving, for example, like, that's not something that just happens overnight. Like, there's a lot of things that have to come into play in order to manifest a move. So that's going to take a lot of time. Even if I'm doing everything right for like 6 months, it could take a year for that to manifest. And then there's other times where, you know what, maybe you're just not ready for it yet. Like, maybe you have a little bit more growing to do or a little bit more healing to do in a certain area before that can come in and really like happen for you. And say, for example, you're trying to manifest in like your dream job. That dream job might not have an opening for like 3 or 4 months. So would you rather have something come up right away that's not quite what you want? Or would you rather wait the 4 months for that dream job to open? So there's more that goes into it than just like, I'm doing everything, why isn't it here? There's a lot of work happening in the background. And so sometimes we just have to be patient and allow the universe to bring it to us when it's ready, when we're ready, when all the stars have aligned. And I also just realized that I used a woo-woo term called aligned action. So I'm just going to go over what that is super quickly. But essentially what it is you taking action and doing things that are in line with your goals. So for example, if I'm trying to manifest a brand new car in a specific color at a certain price, and I'm just sitting here, how's the universe going to get me a car? If I'm just sitting on my ass all day watching TV, like, I'm not going to find this car. But if I'm online actively searching, like digging through the Facebook ads, digging through, I don't know what kind of websites you buy cars on, but you know, like a car selling website, I'm taking aligned action to find what it is that I'm manifesting in, and then the universe will bring it to me. So you can't just ask the universe for something and then sit on your ass and do nothing. You still need to be working towards that goal. So if you're trying to manifest in like a dream partner, and again, you're just sitting at home all the time, how are you going to meet that partner? You have to go out. You have to go to different gym classes. You have to go to bars, like wherever you would meet this dream person. Like maybe you want someone who's an author. Like, okay, go hang out in a library for a bit. Check out some books. Like you still have to be putting yourself out there for the universe to be able to give you these manifestations and give you these different experiences. You can't just sit and do nothing. So that's essentially what aligned action is. So hopefully everything I've said so far makes sense. And I want to just talk quickly about how we can clear these negative and limiting beliefs and like restructure our brain in order to believe that everything that we want is happening for us. And the best way to do that, in my personal opinion, is the subconscious reprogramming. So this is something that I personally use. There's different ways to do it, but essentially you're rewiring your brain to believe something different. So you're like, in like a super science-y term, you're like creating new neural pathways in your brain and like, I feel like, what's the word? Like it's not deleting, but like getting rid of the old ones. So you change your thought process and you change your subconscious in that way to start believing something else. And the reason that we do this is because like we all like to be comfortable, right? It's called our comfort zone for a reason. And our brains are wired to regulate our bodies to keep everything balanced and in harmony. And it's more likely to accept and highlight our experiences that reinforce our pre-existing beliefs and situations. So we're going to be more naturally likely to make choices that keep us in this comfort zone. And so it reinforces the thought process of, I'll never achieve this, there's no point in trying, those types of limiting beliefs, because that's where we're comfortable. That's what we're used to. And our brains are literally wired to keep us like comfortable in homeostasis, all the things. So thank God for science. And seriously, you guys, if you do not know who Joe Dispenza is, I highly recommend getting his books, watching his series on Gaia, because he goes like really deep into the science of how you can literally reprogram your subconscious through the neural pathways in your brain. It's like a lot of big words, but you got to watch it. It's like the most interesting thing. And I really love, sorry, this is like a tangent now, but I really love how it connects like the science with the spirituality of like manifesting. Because I think there's a lot of people who doubt manifestation. And so anytime it can be backed by science, I'm like, yes, let's freaking do this. So anyway, tangent done. But basically it's called subconscious reprogramming, and you can do it in a bunch of different ways. So the way that I like to do it is meditation or through psychedelics. And I know psychedelics are not accessible to everyone. They're also not legal everywhere. So I'm not telling you to go do this. I'm just talking about my experience. If you do choose to do it, make sure you don't have any like predispositions to like schizophrenia and other mental health disorders, because if you do, you should not be doing psychedelics. So, like do your due diligence, make sure it's safe. With the subconscious reprogramming, it's literally doing just that. You are reprogramming your subconscious mind. And so you need your brain to be in, for meditation at least, like the theta brainwave state. There's a bunch of different, this is like getting so sciencey. There's a bunch of different brainwaves that your brain operates at. I'm not going to go through them all, but basically when you're in like a very relaxed state, so like in meditation or like the stage right before you fall asleep or right when you wake up, your brain's in a theta state, and it's a lot more susceptible to reprogramming your subconscious. So when you're meditating, it's really good to do some sort of guided or visualization meditation that brings you into that theta brainwave state and then takes you through where the limiting belief started. So it can be like a trauma moment. It can be an embarrassing moment. It can be something that you experienced where maybe you tried something and failed at it and your brain was like, okay, that's it. Like you're never going to succeed now because you failed this one time. And you can basically reprogram that memory to be something else. So I'm just going to say, for example, like you want to be an artist so badly. You're so creative. You love that side of yourself, but you're like, you don't believe that you're good enough, and you don't know why, because your art is literally so amazing. You go do the visualization meditation, you get brought back to that moment, and you realize that when you were like 4 or 5 years old, you showed your parents your art, and instead of being like, oh, wow, that's amazing, they literally said to you, this is shit. Or like, this is not good. Like, you need to redo this. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. And they just criticize the whole thing. And so now you've got this subconscious belief in your system. You internalize that you're not a good artist. No matter what you do, you're never going to be good enough as an artist, and you can't succeed in that way. So when you're reprogramming your subconscious, you've been brought back to this memory, and you're able to reimagine it in a way that is more aligned to you. So you go through the memory again, and when you show your parents, you change their reactions and you imagine it happening in a way that would support what you want to believe now. So they can basically say, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. We're so proud of you. You did such an amazing job with this. You're going to make a great artist one day. And you are reprogramming that in your brain on a subconscious level, so that when you start living your daily life, these thoughts are now coming to fruition in your day-to-day life. And it doesn't happen right away. Sometimes, like if you're really, really good at getting to that theta state, you can do this in one session. Sometimes you need to redo it like 3, 4, maybe 5 times and really get it ingrained there. But it's like one of the best ways. And it's something that I do in my coaching sessions. So if you guys are interested, hit me up. But it's one of the most amazing ways to change your limiting beliefs. And also when you're in those meditations and you're going back to those memories, because you're in that theta state, like you can access parts of your subconscious that you can't normally. So like the memory that come up, you might have suppressed and you might not even be able to access, not in the theta brainwave. And that's actually happened to me. Like memories came forward where I was like, holy shit, I had no idea that this even happened. So if you're trying to figure out why you have limiting beliefs around certain things, that's also a super helpful tool. It's really cool to see like what can come up. And then another way to do this actually is through sleeping. So as I mentioned, like the theta brainwaves happen when we're in like a very deeply relaxed state. So if you go to bed listening to a record, oh my God, how old am I? A record, to like a recording of some sort of positive affirmation. So if you're believing that you're a shit artist, you can record yourself, and you should always use yourself if you can, because your brain is more susceptible to its own voice. But I know some people hate hearing themselves being recorded. So again, this is another service that I offer if you're interested. But say like, I'm an amazing artist. I'm so creative at this. I'm like, and give yourself that positive affirmation that you need, and then just go to bed listening to it. And as you're sleeping, you can start rewiring your subconscious as well. And so the reason why I also mentioned psychedelics is because when you're on psychedelics, whether it be psilocybin, LSD, or DMT, which is the main component in ayahuasca, the channels between your conscious brain and your subconscious brain are open and they're talking to each other. So there's a lot from your subconscious that you can access and learn about yourself to take forward and heal from. And it's a really amazing time to meditate and do some positive affirmations and like reprogram that part of your subconscious brain. Like when I was talking on my ayahuasca episode about the girl saying, I am safe, like it's one of the best times to use those positive affirmations, because you're ingraining it into your subconscious. Your subconscious is awake, it's active, you're able to talk to it. And so you're able to really heal a lot of those limiting beliefs that are in your subconscious because it's open and you're able to access it. So those are my favorite ways to reprogram your subconscious and to clear the limiting beliefs. There's some other ways you can do it as well, like journaling through it. So if you're like a very logical person, you can just brain dump onto a sheet of paper. If you don't know what to write, literally write, I don't know what to write, over and over and over again until your brain just comes up with something, and just write whatever comes on the page. It doesn't matter what it is, but chances are something's going to come up that you didn't expect, and that kind of you might think came from nowhere, or like you're forcing yourself to come up with something because you can't think of anything, but it's actually coming from your subconscious and it's just flowing out of you. And then you can get to the root of where it came from, and you can start reprogramming that in your brain by, again, using daily affirmations, or you can literally like just logically journal it out. And so say it's the example of like your parents thinking you're a shit artist. You can logically journal that through and be like, well, it doesn't matter what they say because art is subjective. So they might think it's crap, but other people might think it's good. I have this person all complimenting me on my art. I've sold art pieces to strangers. Just because I'm not successful yet doesn't mean I won't be, and doesn't mean I'm a bad artist, right? So there's a way that you can go through it from a more logical standpoint if that's what works for you. But you want to make sure that you're really truly believing what it is you're putting on that paper and what it is you're trying to like reprogram into, if that makes sense. Which is why for me personally, doing it through the subconscious way is just more productive, because I can tell myself logically anything, but that doesn't mean I'm going to believe it. So you really got to play around and kind of find what works best for you. So that is all I had to share today on reaching your goals, manifestations, and limiting beliefs. I hope you guys learned from it, got something useful out of it. And if you have any questions, of course, you can always reach me at I am Alexis Christine on Instagram, or the Just Like You Show on Instagram. And I'm more than happy to help. I can also do a Q&A if there's like a shit ton of questions coming through. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day coming from someone just like you.